Lerrone Richards, about 10 days out from your Commonwealth title shot, Tommy Langford at the SSE Arena, Wembley. How's it all going?
Yeah, training camp's gone really well. For me, I live the life. I'm always training. For me, it was just for these last few weeks just to tweak a few things, going through tactics and things like that. But yeah, I'm ready to go. I can't wait.
You've been out of the ring for a little while. Is that any sort of handicap?
Nah, if you're good enough, you're good enough.
What sort of threat does Langford present in your eyes?
He's a big guy. Big, good boxer. Very, very smart, and he's got a good work rate.
He's made the point, perhaps fairly, but he looks at your ledger, if you like, and doesn't think you've boxed anyone of his level. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, it's a fair comment to say, yeah, for sure.
Maybe, are you confident of bridging that gap? Is that always a silly question for you?
Well, yeah, I'm ready. I've always wanted to take the fight. Yeah, I'm not silly. I know the boxing business, and I took this fight because I know I can win, and I can win impressively. So, if he wants to keep thinking, that's his problem.
Do you think maybe people underestimate Tommy a little bit and forget the sort of experience and the level he did actually reach not so long ago?
Well, not me. I know what he's done. I know he's British Commonwealth champion. And I know what he's done as a professional, and obviously I know what he's done as an amateur as well. But see, when me and him box, it's my skill versus his skill, and I feel that my skills are better.
He's not short of a boxing ability, though, is he?
No. Otherwise, he wouldn't have achieved what he's achieved. But like I said, I'm ready for this step up now, and I can't wait to show everyone what I'm all about on the 27th.
Is this your breakout fight, your litmus test?
Yeah, you would say so.
And it's something you've got to not just win, but maybe make a statement, impress?
Yeah, well, other than that, I'm just going to be Lerrone Snapper, the boss Richards, and that's enough. So we'll see what happens.
Not telling tales out of school, but I spoke to Tommy this morning or this afternoon, and he makes the point, but when he looks at your record, there's nothing in there to suggest, but you should be, but you've got what it takes to deal with someone of his calibre.
Okay.
Nothing to say about that?
No.
What he also said, well, maybe suggested, is that you've become a pretty famous sparring partner over the last number of years, and you've sparred all sorts of names. Yeah. The challenge for you is going to be transferring that to Under the Lights. Your reaction to that theory?
Okay, if that's what he wants to think, I don't care.
You don't think there's any mileage in that sort of train of thought?
Well, look, the sparring was a great experience for me. I learned a lot of these world-class operators. But I know I can transfer that from the sparring into a real fight. So, Tommy Langford can think what he wants.
What are your recollections of actually sparring Langford himself?
Yeah, it was a good spar.
Can you offer any more than that?
Not really, no. It was a good spar. It was a while ago. I can't really remember. But I'm a far improved fighter now, and I'm sure he is now. So it'll be a better fight.
I want to take you back a little bit as to how you becoming quite a well-known sparring fighter came about. It was because you, after a very sort of stellar amateur career, you began as a pro, had a couple of fights, and then ended up sort of in cold storage for a couple of years? Yeah.
Obviously, the reason why is because I had a managerial problem where, I'm not going to mention any names, but a previous manager was holding me in contract and wasn't releasing me. And he wanted a substantial amount of money to release me from my contract. So I had to wait out, and in that time I wasn't going to sit back and not do anything. I decided, let me go out and get some experience of world-class operators, which I did.
Or was it just a case of you having to make the best of a bad situation and use that time productively?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I turned pro, well, reflecting back now, I feel I turned pro a little bit too early. I was more of a boy. Obviously now I've grown up, I'm a man now, full-fledged man, so everything's about timing, and it just shows. Obviously, well, for me, how would I put it? Yeah, I can't really explain it, but from a bad situation, good come out of it. I met Al Smith after that 2-year layoff. Eddie Lamb, obviously I've got a good team on board now that I trust and I believe in. Obviously Eddie Lamb, Al Smith, Mickey Burke, Paul Taylor.
Perhaps probably the one who probably gave you the most shout-outs in terms of you helping him for a big fight was Billy Joe Saunders, and he probably made a lot of the public aware of who you are.
He did, yeah. I was with Billy Joe for like 8 weeks while he was training for Andy Lee. Great experience, really nice guy, Billy, and obviously I gave him good enough work for him to start mentioning my name.
Who else, like you say, the world-class sparring? I mean, who would you say are the other sort of key characters on your sort of sparring journey?
Oh, well, I sparred Tony Bellew when he was boxing Adonis Stevenson. George Groves. I've sparred John Ryder as well, so...
People talk about Chris Eubank. Was there a little story behind a sparring session with him?
Yeah, there was. You know, I'm tired of talking about him, to be honest.
Go on.
But you know what? It's I went out there for experience, and I got that, and it just turned out that he wasn't for me, and one thing led to another. So when I spoke to Billy Joe Saunders about it, you know, Billy Joe then opened his mouth and told everyone, and since then no one stopped talking about it.
Not like Bill. You put out a picture the other day, a post-sparring picture, I think, of yourself and your good friend Joshua Buatsi. Yeah. Was that a tasty little spar?
Yeah, it was a good spar, and you know, it's something I needed in this camp. Someone that's going to test me mentally as well as physically. So, you know, it's a brilliant spar.
What did you put Buatsi in the light heavyweight scene? I mean, at the moment, on our side of the fence, you've got Anthony Yard, who looks, to all intents and purposes, like he's going to fight Sergey Kovalev. I mean, if you chart the progress of the two, where do you sort of see the two of them being at?
What? Whether they're one or two, or?
Well, yeah, and how they would get on if they ultimately were to fight each other.
Well, I'm going to be biased, and I'm going to say Josh, because he's my mate.
Yeah, but in your boxing analyst's hat, what would you say in that?
I'm going to say Josh, because he's had more of a sort of harder test as a professional.
As a professional, do you think?
Yeah, I do. I feel like him boxing Liam Conroy and things like that, guys who are sort of proven at domestic level, whereas Yard, he hasn't done that. He's just boxed guys who are sort of like fringe sort of European level. So I think Joshua Buatsi. Not only that, going back to the amateur pedigree as well, with Joshua being Olympic bronze medalist, winning ABAs and stuff as an amateur, I think that plays a big part too.
If you say, proven pedigree at domestic level, I'd say Conroy is probably the only one, isn't he, for Buatsi?
Yeah, but who's Yard boxed?
Domestic level?
Domestically.
Only the southern area. Yeah. Only southern area fight. I need to ask you, we're asking all the boys, June the 15th, we're going to be up in Leeds for Josh Warrington v Kid Galahad. Putting your analyst's hat on again, how do you see that playing out?
I think it's a good fight, but going off form, I'll say Josh Warrington.
How do you sort of see it playing out?
I think it'll be a unanimous decision for Josh Warrington. I think he's just a little bit too lively for Kid Galahad.
Kid Galahad is sort of probably the more tricky sort of boxer, maybe more after your own heart, but you don't think that'll be enough against Josh?
I feel like it's going to be a tough fight. I don't think it's as easy as what people think it's going to be, but I think maybe Josh Warrington on a close points decision.
Finally, just going back to yourself, if you're successful in winning the Commonwealth title at Wembley, how would you see the rest of the year turning out for yourself?
Well, for me, I'm just firmly focused on that night, but you know, when people win Commonwealth titles, I think like it leads to British titles and potentially European titles, so we'll see what happens.
Big turning point for you really though, isn't it?
It is. Obviously having a year out now, I'm going straight in and going straight into the deep end, and looking to put on a big show on the 27th.
We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, I appreciate it.